What's up, guys? Matt here, coming at you with another quick video. This one, something I'm really excited to check out. I've been looking at these for a while, and being that I'm trying to find the shocks that I really want for this rig, these oil field Charismas are doing pretty well, but you get a lot of like binding in the front with the way these mount. I may just space those out, I don't know, but I've been looking at other options, and this is something that's came up quite a bit, so I wanted to check these out, test them for you guys. These are the Kinetic-kms double barrel shock upgrade kit is what they call it. So if you haven't seen them, it basically fits the stock cap and the stock bottom, and then your shaft slides down inside of this brass piece, and the brass piece slides down inside of this, so you get like a telescopic movement there, so they can compress and not really raise your ride height a lot or at all, I don't believe, depending on springs, but then you have that extra travel when you need it. So really excited to check these out. I'm going to kind of show you how they go together, and then we're going to test them on this, and then I'm possibly considering actually putting them on the rear of the Atlas eventually. I'm getting a lot of torque twist with the center axle on it, so that'll be interesting to check out as well. So let's check out putting these together, and then we'll get some measurements on them, and we'll go from there. All right, so kind of hope everybody can see this real well. I'm going with the VLP springs, very low pressure. So it's nice that they label the two different sets, low pressure, very low pressure, VLP. So we're going to see how those do. The one kind of thing I've heard about these is the springs were a little tough, but I don't know if they've changed those or what, but these feel really good. I'll pull this spring off and see, but it almost feels just the same as the stock spring there, but longer, because you need the longer. So I'd highly recommend, if you're messing with shocks much, get a shock shaft tool, because the thing is, if you're using pliers or anything like that on these shafts, there's a chance of boogering them up, and then any little scratch or anything on those is definitely, you're going to feel it in the shock. Okay, you may not think so, but it's definitely possible. You may be able to use whatever. Kinetic-kms says that you can basically just use a rubber glove or something to get better grip on this shaft, or that, and you know, screw this right off. This stuff's not very tight, so honestly you can probably do it all by hand. I have the tools, so I use the tools. They're definitely best for 10 scale stuff. You need them. So the way this goes is you pull that apart just like I did. I didn't explain that because I was too busy talking. Hopefully you could tell what I did. Just took the cap off, screwed this off of the shaft, got the shaft here by itself. So it's going to drop down in this, I do believe. See, that's kind of a tight, I mean, it's not tight, but it's a good fit. So if you've boogered up that shaft, you're going to feel that in there, because that moves nice and smooth right now, but if that shaft's all gouged up, then it's going to hang and stuff. So really important to use the right tool there. Look at that. Wow, that's too cool, guys. That really is a genius idea. So you can see there the way this is going to work. That's going to go up inside of there, and then your shaft can still travel also. So you're getting like double the travel. I just lost the shaft in there. Getting double the travel basically of the stock shock. You know, a lot of people, including myself, have put a longer shaft on this stock shock, and it makes your shock longer. The problem is you don't get any more travel because the body of the shock is still the same, and you're gonna your shaft's still only going to go so far. It's only going to travel from here to here, and it's going to bottom out. So it really don't do you any good to put that longer shaft in there. You can do that using a 10th scale servo casing screws, the 4 screws that hold the casing together. You can pull those out, and it'll work. But this by far outweighs that option already. I know it's going to be way better than that. So we're going to screw the stock cap on. Just like that. Then we need our spring. Boom. These look cool too. I like the look of them. And then we're going to go with this end. And really, no tighter than these have to be. You really don't even have to hold that shaft with anything. You can kind of pinch it between your nail or something, and it's good. So that is really cool. Hopefully you guys can see that good. Look how far that compresses. Sweet. All the way down to stock size. All right. So stock length, let's go end to end, is right at 36.5, and then it compresses all the way down to 27.5. These, what I say, 37.5, somewhere in there, 36, 37, probably 37. You can already see how much longer there. These, how they sit, are almost, they're right about 49. So that's a big gain there. That's huge. And compressed down to 28, basically. So, awesome. I'm going to pull a Charisma off, and we'll compare it with that. Okay, so I pulled one of my front Charismas here. I've been running no springs on the front of this, mostly because the springs don't fit well. They rub. But anyways, it's been working pretty well. So here's the stock, well, yeah, I guess you call it stock. The aluminum oil-filled Charisma, the MSA 1E or something like that. I can put a link to them in the description also. They are right around 51. And they compress to 37. 51 to 37. So these are right about the 50. And like we said, they go down to, 27, 28. So you get a lot more compression. Whoa. All right. So it's hard to hold all this, but look at that. I think you can see that. Real results there. That is awesome. And I've got to say, I don't know if it's just this one Charisma here or what, but these, even though it's the double barrel, I kind of wondered how that was going to slide there, is much smoother than this. These are oil filled. Most of my oil's probably leaked out of this one. I'm having trouble with this set. I told a few people I'd never had any problems, and then of course I started having problems. But much smoother to feel in the hand. I know I can't show that on video, but I think you can maybe see how that's moving pretty smooth, and this is kind of a little jerky. I don't know. I don't want to keep talking and talking. This video is going to be super long anyways, but I want to check these out well for you guys. So I know everybody's going to want to know how they compare to this and that and everything under the sun. So I'm going to do a full shock video, updated shock video soon. I have the old man EMUs we can compare. I have the CR24 aluminums. I have these now. I have the oilfield charismas. I have hot racing. I have power hobby. I have whatever. All right, so I'm going to do that a full comparison later. All right, this is just initial thoughts on these. Checking out some measurements, comparing them to one of the most popular shocks for flex, I guess you'd say. And so far they're looking really good compared to those. So we're going to get these mounted up, test them out, and then I'm going to run them quite a bit before I do the full-on shock video, and we'll get to that. I told you this video is going to be long. One thing I wanted to touch on, installing them here. First look, they look, let me get this out of the way. They look like they're going to sit better because they're not as thick up here. So for anybody running this tube chassis, I'm hoping this may be a really good option for us. And if you can see this, these charismas, the way I have to mount them, they're really tight against that knuckle. If you're not running the plastic knuckle that you can just trim, I don't know if you can see the wear I'm getting there. Probably not. But it's wearing on this knuckle. These use the stock mount. Look at that. Don't even touch. Okay? I'm talking about the little space right here. I can get the wrench in between there, okay? Probably going to be hard to see on camera. Over here, I am bottoming out against these charismas. So I'm hoping this is going to be an awesome option for these, okay? Anyways, let's get the rest of them on and go from there. So I don't know if this is going to come through on camera very well, but just to show you, here in front of me, I can see the difference. This spring is with the kinetic shocks. It's much softer and a little bit shorter than the oilfield charisma spring. I'm sure you can't tell that. I mean, you can see the difference in them here in front of me. Maybe you can on the video, maybe not. But they feel softer. So they've either changed that spring because a few people had said it was way too stiff, or I don't know. But I think I'm going to like them. So I'll touch on that. And then the other thing I was looking at, you don't have to remove this little retainer clip from the shock body because it's kind of machine built in there. So awesome quality work there as well. So I like that, you know. Don't have to have that little plastic piece. Just super clean. So far, looking good. Let's get them on. Okay, is it getting annoying yet? I wanted to touch on, I have the hot racing here. These will not thread up to the hot racing caps. I know those are kind of a popular option for a lot of people. You could maybe force that. It starts in, but I wouldn't. So they won't work with the hot racing or I guess the power hobby or the trio probably. They're all the same exact thing. So that's not going to work, but that's not a big issue. These are made for the stock shock, and honestly, there's nothing wrong with these caps. They just don't look as pretty. So maybe that's an option, something they'll make eventually. Not a huge deal. Just thought I would touch on it because I know people are going to ask. No, it don't thread into the hot racing. I have the power hobby and the Trill are the exact same. So I doubt those would work either. I'm not going to pull my power hobbies to try them just because I know they're the same thing, just rebranded. So they're, in my opinion, they're not going to work. Okay, so I got the fronts on, and I want to show real quick the problem I have with this tube chassis. You can see how it makes that shock run at an angle, kind of bowed when you run these screws all the way in. So basically, this won't even move right now. These have, you know, the extra moving part down there, so it's even kind of worse, I guess you'd say, with these. So mounting these straight on, it's not going to work. Not a huge issue. I'm going to space them out a bit. Put a spacer in behind here. And then look, super smooth. Okay? Smoother than my Charismas were, even when they were running loose. So you may want something like this number 2 flat washer. That's what I'm going to try to use. Or a split washer, either one. Shout out to Scale Reproductions, a hobby shop I always hit up in Louisville. If you're in the Louisville area, check them out. They don't sponsor me or anything. I just like the dudes there, so there you go. Plug for y'all. Probably none of them even know I have a YouTube channel, but anyways. So I'm going to throw a spacer in here, and that should take care of that. And look how smooth those are. Lots of travel, and they feel soft with these springs, so I don't know. The only thing I'm seeing right now is kind of coming off that cup every now and then on the bottom. Really don't matter. So let's get this spaced out. I know I keep saying let's get them on, but I keep just, you know, having things come up, so I wanted to touch on it as we're doing this. You could really space out either side, the bottom or the top. I'm going to space the top out a bit just so I don't lose that steering like I had before. And then there goes a pin. We'll get the rears on, hopefully, and go from there. So another thing here, I think you can tell the lean that this has right here. I have a oil-filled Charisma on this side and the Kinetic on this side. So I like this from the get-go because it's lowering that center of gravity a little bit, you know, where this is holding it up a little bit. And so as it's just sitting, that's sitting a little lower, but we know from the measurements and stuff we have just as much travel. And we actually have more compression there. It can compress farther. I think you can easily see that on the truck. You know, that's as far as the Charisma can go. Look how far that, I mean, if these don't perform just unbelievably, I'll be amazed. Just going through putting them on, I'm already thinking, how much is this going to cost me to put it on all my trucks? Okay? Not going to lie. I don't get insanely excited about something like this. Usually, I've tried so many different things that when I get something, I just think, okay, what am I going to have to do to mod this to make it work? But this, I don't think it's going to be the case on these. This looks amazing. I'm excited. I think you can probably tell that. Can't wait to get it on this rig. I've been looking for the setup that I really wanted on this thing since I got it all together. And I may have just found it. I also mounted this one with one of the stock caps that I'd cut the reservoir off of, just to show that you can get that, bumping the camera, you can get that even more clean look there just by cutting that off. Myself, I kind of like that, you know, just looks super clean. So I'm really excited. Let's get this other one on. We got to run these things. All right, so we're going to try this little climb here just to see how it does. Of course, this thing just walks right up it. So let's try coming straight down. You can see those shocks really drop right there. Gives you that added travel right there where you really need it. Look at that. Amazing. Pretty much all my other rigs just flip over on that. You either have to hammer down that or you're not going to make it. So spots like this, you can really see that rear shock on the back left side there, compressed way down, probably more than I would get with the Charisma. And then this front one is able to kind of droop down and keep my tire closer to the ground. So you can see there, I mean, I could come out of this a little easier, but I was just trying to show in those situations, it's really handy how these shocks work. I'm blown away with these. Probably even more so right there. See how compressed that back left shock is? And then this right one is fully extended. So my right tire is on the ground here. And that's up. That's amazing. My Charismas would not give that much. No shock I've ran had that much variation to it, I guess you would say. So this is one of my more challenging spots on the course. All of the trucks kind of struggle with this. You got to hit it just right. Watching these shocks move, though, is really cool. All right, so you just seen some of my first run with these shocks. I ended up putting a little brass spacer I had here. The number 2 washers I showed would work fine. This just looked cleaner, and I had them, so I slapped those on there. And overall, I love these things. I'm going to have to get more of them. I just really like how they're working, okay? You can tell this thing, it actually sits better now. It sits a little bit lower than it did with the oil-filled Charismas. With something that has stock shocks, it's not really going to raise your ride height, but you get double the travel. So it's awesome. I love how far, look how far they'll compress. And I was trying to show that a little bit in my video, which is hard to do, but these are definitely on track to be my favorite shocks. Right away, I really like them. For one, I was needing something like this for this buggy, and this is it. I've definitely found this is the shock for this. I'm going to do more running with these, try to put them on a couple different trucks. The video would have just been way long if I did all that on one video, so I just kind of wanted to check them out, give my thoughts on them, install them on here, and we'll go from there. These will fit anything. So, if you're looking for the Jeep, C10, whatever, they're going to go right on. They use the stock mounting stuff, so it's super easy. Don't have to figure out how to mount them. They go together really quick, super simple. Anybody can do the install, and they work. I mean, they just work. I'm super impressed, and I hope you guys can tell that. Anyways, they are on eBay. I'll put a link, hopefully. Kinetic-kms. You can see that. 100% positive feedback. They do great. They ship quick, and they've made an awesome product here, in my opinion. So, I'm gonna be honest about stuff. I'm not just gonna tell you to buy something for no reason. But these are definitely the shocks for my buggy here. I'm going to probably have to pick up a set for the Atlas. Maybe I'll try these on there, see how they do. And we'll go from there. But if you have any questions on these, hit me up. I'm going to try to, like I said, do a full shock comparison video to update my old video. I have a lot of different options now and kind of change things around a little bit. So definitely be on the lookout for that. Go ahead and subscribe and hit that bell so you get notified when I post these videos, and you won't miss it. So I appreciate everybody watching, and we'll get to more on these. If you have any questions, holler at me. All right, so I'm definitely going to do some more testing with these, like I said, and try them on some different trucks and stuff, and compare them to all the shocks that I have. But if you're interested, this is the seller right here. Great seller, great communication. I think most people have probably bought the millstone wideners and weights off of them, so they know that they're good. So check them out on eBay. I'll try to put a link in the description, and I appreciate everybody for watching. Peace.